In the heart of Savannah, Georgia, where the Spanish moss drapes like age-old curtains and the cobblestone streets whisper tales of the past, stands the Marshall House Hotel. Its walls, steeped in history, have stood the test of time, witnessing events that have woven the rich tapestry of Savannah's past. As the oldest hotel in the city, the Marshall House has seen days of glory and days of sorrow, particularly during its time as a hospital in the Civil War and the yellow fever epidemic. The story of the Marshall House is one that intertwines the past with the present in a hauntingly beautiful symphony. During the Civil War, the hotel was repurposed as a hospital to care for wounded soldiers. The hallways, which once echoed with the laughter of guests, were transformed into aisles of moaning and cries of pain. The ballroom, a place of dance and joy, became an operating room where many soldiers met their tragic fate. Years later, as the yellow fever epidemic swept through Savannah, the Marshall House again opened its doors as a hospital. The disease, ruthless and indiscriminate, claimed numerous lives, leaving a lingering aura of despair within the hotel walls. Today, guests and staff at the Marshall House often speak of eerie encounters that chill the soul. It's not uncommon for visitors to hear harrowing screams echoing through the corridors at night, sounds that are remnants of the building's harrowing past. Some have reported seeing ghostly apparitions in Civil War attire, wandering the halls or staring out of the windows, their expressions a mix of confusion and eternal sorrow. The most chilling of these apparitions is said to be that of a soldier from the Civil War, his uniform stained with blood, his eyes hollow with the trauma of battle. He's been seen limping along the hallways, disappearing around corners or vanishing right before startled guests' eyes. In one particular room, guests have reported waking to the feeling of being watched, only to see the faint outline of a nurse from the yellow fever days. Her presence marked by a sense of deep sadness and a lingering scent of old medicine. Despite these haunting occurrences, the Marshall House remains a beloved landmark in Savannah. Its historical significance and architectural beauty draw visitors from around the world. The hotel has embraced its past, with staff sharing stories and legends with curious guests, adding to the allure and mystique of their stay. As the sun sets over Savannah, the shadows lengthen across the streets and the lights of the Marshall House flicker on. The boundary between the past and present seems to blur. Inside, the hotel is a world unto itself, a place where history lingers in the air, and the echoes of the past are never too far away. Here, in the oldest hotel of Savannah, the past is not just remembered. It is relived in the whispers of the walls, in the creak of the floorboards, and in the silent watch of those who never truly left. The Queen Anne Hotel, a Victorian-era treasure rich in both history and mystery, is nestled amidst the bustling streets of San Francisco, California. Known not just as a haven for modern travelers, but also, according to popular belief, as a sanctuary for spirits from times gone by, the hotel captivates with its blend of past and present. The story of the Queen Anne Hotel unfolds in the late 19th century, an era of rapid growth and opportunity in San Francisco. Initially, this elegant structure served as a boarding school for young girls, guided by the firm yet kind Miss Mary Lake. A headmistress of notable dedication, her influence was so profound that rumors persist of her spirit residing within the hotel's walls, long after the school was closed and the building transformed into the grand hotel we know today. Guests of the Queen Anne often report mysterious experiences that defy explanation. The most intriguing of these is the feeling of being gently tucked into bed, reminiscent of a caring headmistress, ensuring her students are well rested. This strange occurrence is most frequently felt in room 410, once the office of Miss Mary Lake, where the temperature drops without reason, and the air is subtly scented with lavender. Visitors often describe a sense of a benevolent presence, gently smoothing the bed sheets. Beyond Miss Lake's lingering spirit, the Queen Anne is rife with other enigmatic events. Guests and staff share stories of ghostly footsteps in empty corridors, doors that close softly as if pushed by an unseen hand, and whispers in the night that seem to recount the hotel's storied past. In the hotel's grand lobby stands a Victorian-era mirror, a centerpiece that occasionally reveals brief glimpses of figures dressed in period attire, their faces indistinct and vanishing quickly. This mirror, almost a portal to the past, blurs the lines between then and now, intriguing and mystifying those who catch these fleeting images. As night falls, the corridors of the Queen Anne are illuminated by a surreal light, creating an ethereal atmosphere. Guests recount feeling an unexpected, cold touch in otherwise empty rooms, seeing shadows move swiftly across walls, and hearing the distant, eerie sound of a piano from a long, silent music room. Despite these ghostly tales, the Queen Anne is more a place of fascination than fear. Its history is a source of pride for the staff, who eagerly share tales of the hotel's past with guests. Visitors are drawn not only by the promise of luxury, but also by the hope of encountering something supernatural, a tangible link to a past that seems increasingly distant in our modern world. As dusk settles over San Francisco, the Queen Anne Hotel stands as a testament to history, its lights casting a welcoming glow onto the streets. Within its walls, the past and present converge, creating an ambience that is both haunting and enchanting. The Queen Anne exists in a unique realm where time is fluid, and the past is not just a memory, but a living presence, continually interacting with the present. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, stands as an iconic landmark, not just for its stunning architecture and majestic setting amidst the Rocky Mountains, but also for its eerie reputation and supernatural allure, most notably as the inspiration for Stephen King's novel, The Shining. This grand hotel, with its sprawling facade and regal demeanor, has been a source of fascination and fear, woven deeply into the fabric of ghostly lore. The story of the Stanley Hotel begins with its founder, Freeland Oscar Stanley, who arrived in Estes Park in 1903. Suffering from tuberculosis, Stanley was advised to seek the fresh, dry air of the Colorado mountains. Miraculously, he recovered, and in gratitude, he vowed to create a grand hotel that would serve as a luxurious retreat for the city's visitors. Thus, in 1909, the Stanley Hotel opened its doors, a gleaming edifice of Georgian architecture set against the rugged backdrop of the Rockies. From the outset, the hotel was a beacon of luxury, attracting the elite with its sophisticated charm and breathtaking scenery. However, it wasn't long before strange occurrences began to unfold within its walls. Guests and staff started reporting unusual phenomena, from eerie sounds and ghostly apparitions to objects moving on their own. The most famous spectral resident is Flora Stanley, Freeland's wife, who was known for her love of music. Guests have often reported hearing the piano in the hotel's music room playing by itself. Some claim to have seen the piano keys moving, as if an invisible hand were playing Flora's favorite pieces. The sound of her music, hauntingly beautiful, seems to drift through the corridors, a reminder of the hotel's storied past. Another renowned ghost is that of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper. During a storm in 1911, she was injured in an explosion alighting the acetylene gas lanterns in room 217. She survived, but is said to have never left the hotel. Guests staying in room 217 have experienced strange occurrences, such as their belongings being mysteriously unpacked or lights turning on and off by themselves. The hotel's fourth floor is another hotspot for paranormal activity, believed to be haunted by the ghosts of children who once stayed there. Guests have reported hearing giggles, footsteps, and balls bouncing down the halls when no children are present. The laughter of unseen children playing in the dead of night adds a chilling layer to the hotel's already eerie atmosphere. The Stanley Hotel's supernatural fame skyrocketed after Stephen King's visit in 1974. He and his wife stayed in room 217, and King, inspired by the hotel's ghostly ambience, and his own eerie experiences, wrote The Shining. The novel and the subsequent movie adaptation by Stanley Kubrick cemented the Stanley Hotel's reputation as a place of ghostly occurrences and psychological horror. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination. Guests from around the world come not only to enjoy its luxurious amenities and stunning scenery, but also in the hopes of experiencing something supernatural. The hotel embraces its spooky side, offering nightly ghost tours and featuring memorabilia from The Shining. As night falls over Estes Park, the Stanley Hotel lights up, its grandeur undiminished by time. Inside, the blend of opulence and the unknown creates an ambience that is both fascinating and unsettling. The Stanley Hotel is more than just a building. It's a portal to the past, a place where the line between the living and the spectral seems to blur, and where the echoes of yesteryear play on in ghostly whispers and phantom melodies.